Good day, good day, good day.
Welcome, everybody. Tomorrow is a very important day for Nolan Wells' family. We pray for their condolences. We pray for their peace. We pray for justice. We know that tomorrow is a very important decision for the family concerning the casket being open or closed.
Yeah.
Now, this is not about the public. This is about the family
That's right.
and what they want. We know in our history, time past, that an open casket reveal the wickedness and the evilness of racism.
We can point to Emmett Till right there in Mississippi. So this has a deep rooted, um, history.
Violent history in our country.
Yeah, this isn't coming out of nowhere. Why there's a lot of people that is really dialed into what's going on there in Mississippi. But I really have a question. Like, where's the autopsy?
And why is the autopsy taking so long? So, of course, the state of Mississippi should release the autopsy. But they have fear because there's an independent autopsy.
That's right. So to give you guys some more context on that, so typically what happens is the state typically jumps in and does an autopsy on the body, and he'll run through how long that typically takes. However, due to the history of some concerns that they have around the medical examiner, they have chosen to do independent
Autopsy
autopsy.
because there's a lot of controversy with
Yeah.
this medical examiner by the name of Stacy, but we'll pull her up in a second. But let's go to this guy by the name of Secret Service Sam
Secret Service saying.
and see what he has to say about what's going on in Mississippi in the autopsy.
And something that is very sus to me. Sheriff John Ledbetter and the Mississippi Department or Jackson County, they're waiting to put their autopsy report out until the independent autopsy report comes out. Why? Because theirs most likely is going to show accidental drowning, no foul play, you know it. And they don't want to have that happen, allegedly, and then have the family's independent autopsy that was paid for by Colin Cap. Shout out to Cap. I kneel for Cap. That's not Cap. Anyway, I'm digressulating, but they're scared that what'll happen is that their autopsy will be completely different than what the independent one is, which this wouldn't be the first time. Like with Kendrick Johnson, the initial autopsy said no foul play, everything was okay. And in the second autopsy, it revealed foul play. It even revealed that all of his organs had been removed, yet the first autopsy hadn't. So distrust in autopsies is nothing new. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. Release the autopsy report
Release the
so we can
autopsy.
get justice for Nolan Xavier Wells. Secret Service, Sam.
Yeah.
So that's everybody's question.
Where is it? There's
Release
two of them.
the autopsy.
Now, I will say, I think that, from the family standpoint, they're being very strategic as they should. And I think that they're refraining from releasing theirs until the state releases theirs. So,
With the attorney Crump,
yeah, Ben Crump. Yep.
being Crump is being wise,
Hmm.
which the state should release their medical since it's their responsibility and their authority to release. So once they release, then the independent release.
And they should marry up and case closed. Whatever the situation is, they should just move on from there and determine what needs to be addressed.
So the medical examiner has a shaky history. So let's go over her shaky history. So this medical examiner, she She can't be trusted. Let's see. Her name is Dr. Stacy Turner.
Yep.
She's a forensic pathologist. She was officially appointed to the medical examiner position in November of 21 after serving as an interim medical examiner. During this time, she's been accused of mishandling 3 high-profile cases, specifically those involving black people. The first one, of course, was 2021 young man by the name of Damian Cameron, a 29-year-old male, was unalive during a violent encounter with a high-ranking sheriff's deputy. The deputy knelt on his back, which, of course, this is not a new story, right?
Yeah. 10 times so.
For 10 minutes, the autopsy showed that he had an internal neck bleeding, swollen face, and severe trauma. She ruled his unaliving as undetermined, claim of lack of access of information. She's a medical examiner, so why you in control of the information, all right?
Make it make sense, right?
2022, Shannon Wilson, a 13-year-old boy whose family says that he was thrown in a lake by some white boys. He was embalmed without his parents' permission. Now imagine that. His parents said that was done to destroy crucial evidence. We're not surprised by this in Mississippi. After all, this is where Emmett Till took place.
Yep.
His unaliving was ruled an accidental drowning. Imagine. 2025, Trey Reed, a 21-year-old male and Delta State University student, was found bruised and battered, hanging from a tree. Okay? His unaliving was ruled a self-unaliving. And once again, black people, we do not hang ourselves.
No.
That is a racial motivated thing. And black people would not help a story of racism. Come on, pay attention.
Yeah, this is actually this last one is a story that has been continuously being pushed out there. That whole narrative of people, committing suicide but being found hung, and people just need to really, really understand that it is just really, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. So we can't allow these people in higher places to just pass on all this negative connotation that's really false. So
Absolutely. And we understood that the funeral was going to be held at the major coliseum over there.
yeah,
But of course, they tried to jack up the price, $82,000 for this funeral,
$82,000, man, that is crazy.
when other events have been held at this coliseum for less money. And of course, they come up with all this rationale.
I think they did the right thing though by moving it to the church.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to, take the whole rah rah out of it and do what's right at the end of the day. So I think that was a good move for the family.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's about the family and how they can get through this grieving. Because losing a child is a pain that can never be replaced. And so, to wrap this up, we just want to go over the timeline of an autopsy and why the autopsy not being released is very questionable for many of us around the country and the world for that matter, because this is national attention. So, according to Autopsy Directory, how long does an autopsy take? Timeline families should expect. Understand the timeline for an autopsy results from the 2 to 4 hour physical examination to weeks of toxology testing. Okay? Understanding autopsy timeline, one of the most common questions family asks when facing the autopsy process is how long will it take? We all want to know the answer to that question. The answer depends on several factors, including the type of autopsy, the complexity of the case, the workload, the laboratory performing the analysis. This guide breaks down the time. Okay, so we'll jump to the physical examination, which takes 2 to 4 hours. The hands-on portion of the autopsy, the external and internal examination performed by the pathologist, typically takes between 2 and 4 hours for a standard adult case. However, this can vary. So they let you know that it can be done in a timely manner. Straightforward cases, the natural death is an elderly person with known medical conditions may be completed in approximately 2 hours. Complex cases, trauma, multiple injuries, or unknown circumstances may take 4 hours or longer. Pediatric cases often require additional time due to the specialized nature of the examination. Decomposition, of course, may require significantly more time and specialized technique. Okay, mass casualty events. We're going to move on down to preliminary findings, 24 hours to one week. After performing a physical examination, the pathologist can often provide preliminary findings relatively quickly. These preliminary results may include an initial assessment of whether the death appears to be formed natural or non-natural, identification of significant injuries or disease process visible during the examination. Now, mind you, they said that they needed to do so there had to be some severity in his case because they needed medical records.
Yep.
Okay, for forensic autopsy, the medical examiner or coroner may be able to issue a preliminary cause of death for the death certificate within a few days. For private autopsy, many providers communicate preliminary findings to the family within 24 to 72 hours. So why is the state of Mississippi taking so long? Now, the longest of many cases, of course, the longest of many cases could be the toxicology results, 4 to 12 weeks. Toxicology testing is one of the most time-consuming aspects of the autopsy process.
And so I'll just step in right there because on the toxicology piece of it, the father and the mother have come out and said that they doubt that their son had any drugs or anything because that Monday he was supposed to leave to go to school for football. So
Right.
he knew exactly how important that was to him because he was into his business, right?
And into being a stellar athlete. If you go look at his highlight reel,
Yeah.
he was very disciplined and purposed.
Yeah.
So drugs, and it has been accused, there have been accusations floating that drugs could possibly been involved. So this is why the 4 to 12 weeks timeline could be critical in this case because you want to cross every T and dot every I. So when these questions come up, they can be rebutted by the facts.
Yep.
Thank you for your time. We watching this case closely because
Stay down then.
we all have family and loved ones that we do not want this to happen to.
Subscribe, like, sending all love to everyone.
Have a blessed Sunday.